before the deserts, before the dynasties, before the gods were carved into stone, there was only a river, dark, slow, eternal, carrying within it the dust of mountains 1,000 miles away. It did not know it was building a civilization. It simply flowed, and humanity, desperate, brilliant, terrified, followed it. What was born on these banks was not just kingdom. It was the first great answer to the hardest question our species has ever asked. Can we build something that outlasts us? For 3,000 years, Egypt answered, yes. To understand why Egypt was born, you must first understand the world that made it necessary. We are in 11,000 BC. The last ice age is retreating. And across all of North Africa, the land we today call the Sahara Desert, it is raining. Scientists call this the African humid period. The green Sahara, pollen trapped in ancient lake beds across Chad and Libya confirms it. This land was alive. Acacia trees, wild rivers, hippos, crocodiles, human children playing near water that no longer exists. But around 5,500 BC, the Earth's axial tilt slowly shifted. The monsoons moved south. The rain stopped. Lakes dried. Rivers vanished. Grasslands turned to dust. And the people, they moved east, toward the one source of water that never stopped. The Nile. Imagine an entire continent's population, compressed into a single river valley. A corridor of life no wider than 20 kilometers, surrounded on every side by death. That pressure, that desperate, beautiful pressure, became the engine of civilization. By 3100 BC, a warrior king called Narmer unified the two kingdoms of the Nile Valley, Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, into a single, unified state. The age of the Pharaohs had begun. What followed was not one empire. It was a civilization that died and was reborn, collapsed and rose again across 31 dynasties. 3,000 years. The Old Kingdom, 2686 to 2181 BC, was the age of absolute power. The pharaoh was not merely a king. He was a living god, the embodiment of Ma'at, the cosmic force of truth, justice, and order. Without him, the sun would not rise. The Nile would not flood. The crops would not grow. Under Pharaoh Khufu, around 2560 BC, the Great Pyramid of Giza was raised from the desert floor. 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing 15 tons each. For 3,800 years, it stood as the tallest structure built by human hands on this earth. And the men who built it, they were not slaves. Archaeological excavations at the workers' village near Giza reveal something extraordinary. These laborers received advanced medical care. Broken bones, carefully set and healed. Amputations that were survived. They were fed beef and beer, buried near the monument they gave their lives to build with dignity and honor. These were not forgotten men. These were the architects of eternity. But no golden age is permanent. Around 2200 BC, the Old Kingdom collapsed. Not through war, not through invasion, through climate. Isotopic analysis of ancient Nile sediment reveals a catastrophic drought, part of a global arid event known as the 4.2 kilo-year episode, that simultaneously destroyed civilization from Egypt to Mesopotamia to the Indus Valley. The Nile floods failed. Harvest died. Egypt shattered into warlord kingdoms. The gods, it seemed, had gone silent. But Egypt always came back. The Middle Kingdom brought Renaissance, art, literature, and military expansion into Nubia and the Levant. And then the New Kingdom, 1550 to 1070 BC, brought Egypt to its absolute peak. Thutmose III conducted 17 military campaigns, expanding Egypt's borders from Sudan all the way to the Euphrates River. And Ramesses II, the greatest of all pharaohs, ruled for 66 years. He outlived 12 of his own sons. He built more statues of himself than any ruler in history. And in 1274 BC, after the bloody, grinding Battle of Kadesh against the Hittite Empire, Ramesses signed the world's first known peace treaty, a document of international diplomacy inscribed on a silver tablet. A copy of that treaty hangs at the United Nations headquarters in New York today. Written by a pharaoh 3,000 years before the United Nations existed. After Ramesses, the fractures began. The Sea Peoples, mysterious raiders from across the Mediterranean, shattered the Bronze Age world around 1200 BC. Egypt survived barely, but something inside it had broken permanently. Dynasty after dynasty of foreign rulers followed. Libyans, Nubians, Assyrians, Persians. Each one put on the crown of the pharaoh. Each one tried to inherit the flame of Egypt. None of them could hold it. Then came Alexander the Great in 332 BC. He visited the desert oracle of Ammonius at Siwa, who declared him the son of a god. He smiled. He was satisfied. After Alexander's death, his general Ptolemy founded a new dynasty, Greek by blood, but Egyptian by performance. They built temples. They wore the double crown. They pretended, beautifully, to be pharaohs. The last of them was Cleopatra VII. She was not Egyptian. She was Macedonian Greek. But she was the first ruler of her dynasty to actually learn and speak the Egyptian language, 9 languages in total. She was a mathematician, a philosopher, a political mind of extraordinary precision and courage. She aligned herself with Julius Caesar, then with Mark Antony. She fought brilliantly, relentlessly, to keep Egypt free from Rome. She failed. In 30 BC, with Roman legions at the gates of Alexandria, and the man she loved lying dead, Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, took her own life. Rome annexed the kingdom. The temples fell silent. The priests grew old and died. Within a few generations, no living person could read a hieroglyph. 3,000 years of voice silenced. The hieroglyphs slept for nearly 1,400 years, until a French soldier found a broken stone near the town of Rosetta in 1799. The Rosetta Stone gave us back a language. And with the language, an entire civilization's voice returned from the silence. Every name they carved into stone. Every prayer they whispered into the dark. Every king sealed inside a mountain of rock. They were all trying to do the same thing. They were trying to matter. They were trying to make sure that when the last person who remembered them finally died, something would still remain. A column, a name, a story cut into rock by hands that trembled with the same fears, the same loves, the same impossible ambitions that move your hands today. The pharaohs are gone. But look around you. Every time a government claims it rules by divine right, Egypt. Every time a civilization builds a dam to control a river and feed its people, Egypt. Every time a human being is buried with something they loved, in the hope that love survives death, Egypt. And every time you stand under an open sky and wonder whether any of this means anything, whether your life, your name, your story will survive the silence that comes after, you're asking the same question they asked, standing on the same earth, beneath the same stars. The river still flows. It remembers everything. Fade to silence.